Most people spend their lives believing peace is somewhere far ahead. After the bigger salary, after the perfect relationship, after they finally move into a better home, after life begins treating them more fairly. But something strange keeps happening. Even after people reach the things they once begged life for, satisfaction quietly slips away again. Another desire appears. Another comparison appears. Another person online seems to be living a better life. And little by little, many people stop appreciating their own journey and begin measuring their happiness against strangers. My name is Derek, and this is the story of a young man in Spain who spent years chasing a happier life. Until one rainy afternoon, a poor musician sitting near a train station changed the way he saw the world forever. In the old city of Seville, where narrow streets glow beneath orange evening lights, and music drifts softly through crowded plazas, there lived a young man named Adrian. Adrian was 28 years old, intelligent, ambitious, and constantly dissatisfied. Every morning, he walked through streets that visitors crossed oceans to experience. But Adrian barely noticed any of it. His eyes were always fixed on something else. Luxury apartments, expensive clothes behind glass windows, confident businessmen stepping out of black cars, travel influencers posting perfect lives online to everyone around him. Adrian lived in one of the most beautiful places in Europe. But inside himself, he felt like he was falling behind. Not because his life was terrible. He had a small apartment, a stable job designing advertisements, warm meals every evening, and a grandmother who never forgot to call him before bed. But gratitude had slowly disappeared from his heart. Every night, he lay in bed, scrolling endlessly through social media, watching people who seemed richer, freer, happier, and more successful than him. One friend had moved to London, another had opened a business. Someone from university had become famous online. Someone else was traveling the world with the person they loved. And every comparison made Adrian's own life feel smaller. One cold evening, after work, Adrian sat alone near a crowded train station square. Street lights reflected on the wet pavement. Music echoed from nearby. Restaurants. People laughed as they hurried through the city. But Adrian felt completely empty inside. He stared at his phone and whispered quietly, "When does life finally become enough?" A few meters away, an old man sat beneath a broken street lamp, playing a violin for strangers. His coat looked worn from many winters. His shoes were faded and cracked. Beside him sat a tiny open case with only a few coins inside. But there was something unusual about him. The old man looked peaceful. Not the kind of smile people force in public. A calm smile, a real one. Adrian watched him carefully. Small boys stopped to listen to the music. The old man smiled warmly and played a softer melody just for him. The child laughed happily before running back to his mother. Adrian felt confused. How could someone with so little look so content? After a few moments, Adrian slowly walked toward the musician. "May I ask you something?" he said quietly. The old man lowered his violin and smiled gently. "Of course." Adrian sat beside him and looked at the small coin case. "You sit here every day playing music for strangers," he said. "Don't you ever get tired of living like this?" The old man adjusted the violin in his hands and asked softly, "Tired of life? Or tired of wishing it was someone else's?" Adrian became silent. The musician watched the crowded street for a moment before speaking again. "Most people are not unhappy because life gave them too little," he said. "They are unhappy because comparison taught them to ignore what they already have." Adrian looked down at the wet pavement. "But everyone around me seems to be moving ahead," he admitted. "Everyone is building something bigger. Everyone seems happier than me." The old man nodded slowly, as though he had heard the same pain many times before. Then he asked, "If tomorrow you became wealthy, would your mind finally become quiet?" Adrian hesitated. "Maybe," he answered. The musician smiled softly. "Only for a little while." Adrian looked at him carefully. The old man pointed toward the train station. "Every day people arrive here believing happiness exists somewhere else," he said. "They think peace lives in another city, another job, another relationship, another version of life. He paused for a moment. But a restless heart travels everywhere with the person carrying it. Those words struck Adrian deeply. For the first time that evening, he locked his phone and slipped it into his pocket. The musician continued playing softly as rain tapped against the streets. "There is nothing wrong with ambition," the old man said. "But when your future becomes the only place where happiness is allowed to exist, your present life slowly begins to feel like a prison." Adrian looked around the city carefully. For years, he had rushed through these streets without seeing them, but now he noticed everything again: the glow of cafe windows, the sound of distant laughter, the smell of bread drifting from small restaurants, the music echoing through the rain. It felt as though life had been quietly waiting for him to notice it again. That night, Adrian returned home differently. For the first time in months, he did not spend hours comparing his life to strangers online. Instead, he sat beside his apartment window, watching the city lights flicker in silence. But the lesson was only beginning. The following morning, Adrian returned to the station square, hoping to see the old musician again. But something terrible had happened during the night. Heavy rain had flooded part of the street. Several small stands had been destroyed. Water covered the pavement. People rushed around trying to save what remained of their belongings. Adrian's heart sank when he saw the old musician standing quietly beside the broken street lamp. His violin case was ruined. The small wooden chair he used every day had snapped apart in the floodwater. Adrian hurried toward him. "I'm so sorry," he said. "You lost everything." The old man looked at the damaged street for a long moment. Then, surprisingly, he smiled again. Adrian stared at him in disbelief. "How are you still calm?" he asked. "Your instrument, your money, your place, here, it's all gone." The musician placed one hand gently on his chest. "The rain touched my belongings," he said quietly. "It did not touch my spirit." Adrian remained speechless. The old man continued. "Many people place their peace inside things that can disappear. Money, status, attention, possessions." He looked directly into Adrian's eyes. "And when life takes those things away, their happiness disappears with them." The city suddenly felt very quiet around Adrian. Then the musician spoke the words Adrian would remember for the rest of his life. "If your peace depends on what you own, the world will always have the power to break it." Something changed inside Adrian that day. His problems did not magically disappear. His salary stayed the same. His apartment remained small. His life was still imperfect. But slowly, his eyes began to change. And when a person's eyes change, their whole world changes with them. Adrian began calling his grandmother with genuine warmth instead of obligation. He walked through the city without headphones, noticing details he had ignored for years. The music in the streets, the beauty of old buildings, the kindness of strangers, the peace hidden inside ordinary evenings. He still worked hard. He still chased his goals. He still dreamed about a better future. But he stopped hating his current life while building the next one. Every morning before leaving home, he wrote down 3 things he was grateful for. At first, they were simple: warm coffee, a roof above his head, his grandmother's voice. Then the list slowly grew longer. Healthy legs that could walk, another sunrise, another chance to improve, another ordinary day to experience life. Months later, Adrian often returned to the square to listen to the old musician play. One evening, as golden sunlight filled the streets of Seville, Adrian smiled and said, "I used to believe happiness was waiting somewhere ahead of me." The old man gently adjusted the strings of his violin and replied, "Most people spend their whole lives arriving at places they once dreamed about, without realizing they abandoned peace along the way." Adrian looked around the glowing city in silence, and for the first time in many years, his heart finally felt light, because he understood something most people never do. Happiness was never hiding in another country, or inside more money, or inside someone else's approval. It was hidden inside the life he kept overlooking every single day. And from that moment on, Adrian stopped waiting for life to become perfect before allowing himself to feel grateful. So what should we learn from this story? Wanting a better life is not wrong. Dreaming bigger is not wrong. Working hard for your future is not wrong. But destroying your peace because you do not yet have everything you want is one of the saddest ways to live. Because one day, you may finally reach the things you are chasing today and realize you forgot to appreciate the life you already had. Gratitude does not mean you stop growing. It simply means you stop hating your present life while building your future. So continue dreaming, continue improving, continue chasing your purpose. But tonight, before asking life for more, pause for a moment and notice what is already in your hands. Because sometimes, the happiness people spend years searching for has been quietly sitting beside them all along. And if this story touched your heart, then watch my next video for another powerful life lesson. Don't forget to subscribe, like this video, and share it with someone who needs to hear this today. Because one story can change a mindset, and one mindset can change a life.